Despite becoming the most heavily sanctioned country in the world due to the conflict in Ukraine, Russia has so far mitigated the impact on its economy by strengthening ties with countries such as China and India. Russia's relationship with the international community has been strained, and concerns are being raised about its compliance with global financial standards. There have been accusations of financial misconduct, prompting scrutiny from the Financial Action Task Force, or FATF. There is a risk of Russia being blacklisted by the FATF. In response to this situation, Russia has approached India and sought its support during this critical time. If Russia is blacklisted by the FATF, it would create a difficult situation for India, which has been abstaining from voting on UN resolutions regarding the Russian invasion of Ukraine for over a year. Such a blacklist could have unpredictable and adverse consequences for the cooperation between Russia and India in defense, energy, and transportation sectors. In this video, we will quickly delve into the potential risks of Russia's blacklisting by the FATF and India's tricky position in all of this. First, let us learn about the FATF and its lists. FATF is an international organization that works to combat money laundering, terrorist financing, and other threats to the integrity of the international financial system. Formed in 1989 during a G7 gathering of developed countries held in Paris, this international body emerged as a response to the growing concern of money laundering. Originally established with the aim of studying and formulating strategies to combat illicit financial activities, the organization broadened its scope after the 9/11 attack. In 2001, it expanded its mandate to incorporate efforts to combat terrorist financing. Recognizing the pressing global threat, the FATF further extended its purview in 2012 to include initiatives against the financing of weapons of mass destruction proliferation. FATF maintains two lists, the Grey List and the Blacklist. Countries that demonstrate significant weaknesses in their efforts to combat money laundering and the financing of terrorism are categorized as jurisdictions under increased monitoring. These are placed on the Grey List. If a country fails to address the concerns raised by the Financial Action Task Force, it may be moved to a high-risk jurisdictions list, also known as the Blacklist. The Grey List serves as a warning that the country is at the risk of being added to the Blacklist. Here is a list of the countries in the Grey List as of now. In 2021, Turkey was added to the Grey List. More recently, for failing to combat money laundering and terrorism financing, Africa's two largest economies, South Africa and Nigeria, were added to the FATF Grey List in February 2023. The Blacklist consists of non-cooperative countries that provide support for activities such as terrorist funding and money laundering. Currently, Iran, North Korea, and Myanmar are the three countries on the Blacklist. After knowing the basics about FATF, let us now talk about Russia. As per FATF, the invasion of Ukraine contradicted the fundamental principles of the FATF, which are designed to protect the global financial systems, security, safety, and integrity. The organization considered Ukraine invasion to be a breach of the commitment to international cooperation and mutual respect that FATF members have agreed upon. Consequently, the FATF made the decision to significantly limit Russia's involvement and influence within the organization. Russia was suspended from the FATF in February 2023 due to its invasion of Ukraine. As a result, Russia is now prohibited from holding leadership or advisory positions, participating in decision-making regarding matters such as establishing standards, conducting FATF peer reviews, governance, and membership. Additionally, Russia is no longer allowed to contribute assessors, reviewers, or other experts for FATF peer review processes. Now Russia is worried about being blacklisted by the FATF, because being on the FATF blacklist brings forth a cascade of challenges. It limits the access to the benefits of the global financial system. When a country is blacklisted by the FATF, it attracts increased scrutiny from the international community, financial institutions, and regulators. This heightened scrutiny can seriously damage the country's reputation on the global stage. Investors might become hesitant, leading to reduced foreign investments and limited access to the global financial markets. Essentially, it becomes harder for the country to attract capital and stimulate economic growth. Furthermore, financial institutions from other countries implement stricter due diligence and monitoring requirements for transactions involving the blacklisted country. This means that international financial transactions may face higher costs and longer processing times. Such obstacles can hinder trade and economic activities as well as create a burden for businesses operating in the blacklisted country. The consequences extend beyond the financial realm. Diplomatic relations with other nations can become strained. The trust and cooperation that are crucial for financial and economic matters may diminish. In some cases, other countries may even impose additional restrictions or sanctions on the blacklisted country, further isolating it from the international community. Also, when a country is blacklisted, it may face challenges in receiving financial assistance from international organizations like the IMF, World Bank, or regional development banks, as these institutions often consider FATF evaluations while making decisions regarding aid or loans. So being on the blacklist can hinder the country's ability to secure vital financial support for development projects or economic stability. Additionally, the domestic financial institutions of the blacklisted country may suffer reputational damage. Correspondent banks from other countries might cut off or limit their relationships with banks in the blacklisted country. This loss of access to global financial services can have far-reaching effects on cross-border transactions and the overall stability of the country's financial system. Ukraine is pushing the FATF to blacklist Russia. Now, if Russia is indeed blacklisted, it would have significant implications for the Russian economy. By taking this action, the international community would effectively convey a powerful message that Russia's actions in Ukraine are not tolerable. That would also make it more difficult for Russia to fund its war efforts and evade the existing sanctions imposed on it. Russia wants to avoid increased scrutiny, reduced foreign investments, limited access to global financial markets, strained diplomatic relations, potential sanctions, difficulty in receiving financial assistance, and reputational damage to its domestic financial institutions, as all of these consequences can severely hamper Russia's economic growth, stability, and international standing. If Russia is eventually blacklisted by the FATF, it will face a series of sanctions that will make it more challenging for Russian financial institutions to engage in business with the rest of the world. India, as a member of the FATF, has not yet taken a position on whether to support Russia's blacklisting. However, given India's strong economic relationship with Russia, it's likely that India would be hesitant to see Russia blacklisted. If India decides not to support the blacklisting, it would be seen as a significant victory for Russia. It would demonstrate that Russia still maintains some allies in the international community and is not completely isolated. Moreover, it would make it more challenging for the West to exert pressure on Russia to end its involvement in the conflict in Ukraine. However, if India supports Russia's blacklisting, it would deal a significant blow to Russia. Such a move would underscore Russia's increasing isolation and the erosion of support even from its closest allies. As India weighs its options, it finds itself in a difficult position. It has a strong relationship with Russia, which might make it reluctant to see Russia blacklisted. However, India also maintains a robust relationship with the West and is likely concerned about the implications of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Striking a balance between these competing interests will be crucial for India, as it makes its decision on whether to support Russia's blacklisting. The stance taken by India will have important implications for Russia's standing on the international stage and the dynamics of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. The decision will require careful consideration of India's economic interests, its relationships with both Russia and the West, and the broader geopolitical ramifications.